I'm going to move on to something that's very serious and important, and which is the Iran crisis. So I have had a lot of background in studying political documents, stuff like that, because I was into Model United Nations a lot. I did a lot of conferences, and that raised awareness a lot, and I learned a lot about treaties and stuff. So I'm just going to give you guys an overview on why this might be happening, on what we have to expect in the future. Are there any, of course there are bad repercussions, but how bad can they be, and stuff like that. From a political standpoint, just this is not really my point of view. I'm stating the facts, but I'm also going to state my point of view at the end, so please don't attack me for it. Now, this all started, I am not bashing anyone. Even though I do not support Trump, I'm not going to outright bash him, because that's not a good thing to do. So, as I was saying, this started in 2017 when Trump released Executive Order 13769, which is commonly known as the Muslim ban, because he banned a lot of countries, a lot of citizens from countries from entering in the US, and Iran was one of those countries. So Iran retaliated by banning US citizens from entering Iran. Now, moving forward, then in 2018, Trump backed out of the Iran nuclear deal. He continued the deal with other countries, but he just backed out of it with Iran. And then he placed heavy economic sanctions on them, heavy restrictions, stuff like that, which seriously gave them a very big disadvantage, because obviously America is a very big economic, not as big as China, but a pretty big economic superpower. And they do have a lot of power in terms of their economy and stuff. Now, after that, not Trump, but the US accused Iran of attacking 2 oil tankers in the Gulf Strait. And okay, so it's a very convoluted timeline. I'm trying to see it. So that after that happened, the relation just tensed further. It was a very needless thing to do. And then the US started carrying out airstrikes, drone strikes, and airstrikes in Iran, which some might say is a violation. I don't have enough knowledge, but I believe that's a violation of a country's sovereignty. I'm not sure though, so I'd suggest go looking it up. However, a very bad thing about this world at this state is that you're not really held accountable for invading a country's sovereignty, because the United Nations doesn't exactly have a lot of power. It's just a governing body. It can't do a lot unless it has the backing of some of the 5 superpowers that are there. And it can be very complicated at times. So, and mostly it's the big countries, the larger, more stable countries that get away with it. For example, US invading Iran, invading the Middle East, stuff like that. They get away with it a lot, and that is not a good thing. I hope they're held accountable more. And so, after that happened, Iranian-backed Hezbollah militia in Iraq attacked the US Embassy in the Green Zone on 29 December 2019 in retaliation for those drone strikes. So, as a result, Trump got before that, on June 20th, 2019, a drone was shot down in Iran, which turned out to be a US drone. So obviously there was a lot of tensing about that. So as a result, there was an immediate United Nations Security Council meeting in which all of the countries sat down, and what came out of it was that Trump ordered airstrikes, but then called them off 10 minutes before they were missiles were supposed to launch, which is a very stupid thing to do. You're only showing, I know you're trying to prove your power or something, but that's not the way to go within diplomatic relations. So after this happened, the attack on the US Embassy happened on 29 December 2019, which led to the US carrying out a drone strike, which killed Qasem Soleimani, who was the general for Iran, and he is considered the second most important person in Iran, and that was a very bad move. Just generally, it was very bad. He's a very important person. They were trying to, and then Trump came out and said he should have died years ago. Like, really, is that the way you go about it? That's really not the way to go about diplomatic talks. And of course, Iran had enough, and they vowed to get revenge. They did clarify that our revenge is not with the country of the US, it's just with Trump and his officials and some of the officials who supported him during that. And also, one thing I don't understand is that while this is happening, UK and some other European countries are pressuring Iran. Like, that's not the way to go about it. And there was a very big funeral. Hundreds of thousands of people attended it. Even the I think he's the prime minister, or is he the emperor? Basically, the most important person in Iran. He was a very good friend of Qasim Soleimani. He was crying during it. People vowed to get revenge, and also, Iran has placed an $80 million bounty on Trump's head. Really? Like, what's even going on? So I posted a question thing on my story on Instagram on what you're concerned about in the Iran crisis, and a lot of people mentioned that Iran has nuclear power, but so can they deploy nuclear weapons? Now, Iran is a signatory of the Non-Proliferation Treaty of Nuclear Weapons and Arsenal of nuclear weapons and power, and basically the objective of the non-proliferation treaty is to prevent the spread of nuclear weapons and nuclear power and restrict it. So all countries are signatories of that. That means they abide by their rules, except for Pakistan, India, North Korea, and South Sudan. So Pakistan, India refused to sign it because they're like, if Pakistan signs it, then India won't, and if India signs it, then Pakistan won't. So it's basically a reciprocal thing. And North Korea, because obviously, and then South Sudan. So the thing about a lot of international treaties is that even if they're accepted by most people, it is people are not really held accountable for violating them, and especially because treaties and draft resolutions and stuff like these are so vague and they're so broad that it's really very hard to say that yes, you have violated this. They can always come up with a defense, which I have done so many times in my duration of doing Model United Nations, and it's just very easy to counteract these things. Now, another thing I wanted to talk about was the fact that I believe it was pretty old, like 2007 or something, when 52 US nationals were captured in Iran, and Trump recently, in a tweet obviously, vowed to destroy 52 sites in Iran, many of which are cultural heritage sites which are protected under UNESCO, which is the United Nations Education, Social, Cultural Organization. They are protected under UNESCO, and that would actually be a war crime if you were to go about and attack those. And honestly, Trump is taking his issue with the government into civilian territory, and it's going to end up with a lot of civilians of Iran, Iraq getting killed in the Middle East. It's going to start a war. It will be very unnecessary. So let's see. So I have a few reasons as to why he's doing it. The first and foremost is to distract people from the fact that he has been impeached, and the two articles that he has been impeached for is abuse of power and what's the other one? Abuse of power. Let me just check that. And other than that, also to ostracize Iran and to gain favor with specific groups. That is what I was able to glean from this. And if you guys have any theories, then leave them down below. So I'm just going to search the two articles he was impeached on is, or two or is it three? Nancy Pelosi was obviously he was accused. Charges were abuse of power, obstruction of Congress, and abuse of power and obstruction of Congress. So he was impeached. However, impeachment does not mean automatic removal. That vote has to go to the Senate, which in this point in time is Republican. The Republicans hold the majority. So unless 12 or 11 Republicans are able to shift and vote against Trump, he is not going to be convicted, because in Congress, I believe you need a 50% vote. In the Senate, you need a 2/3 vote. That means a lot more people have to vote for that, and that can be very problematic at times. So I'm pretty sure he's not going to be removed. However, this is not going to help his re-election strategy. I'm pretty sure he's not going to be re-elected. So that is my overall view. So what's to come in the future? In my view, Iran is going to retaliate. I just don't know of what magnitude it's going to be, whether nuclear weapons are going to be involved or not, whether an actual war is going to start. And honestly, I feel like a lot of other countries need to start holding Trump/his government more responsible, especially in these trying times when there's so much unrest, there's so much climate change. Dude, the Australian bushfires, the burning of the Amazon rainforest just this year. So much land has already been destroyed, and instead of banding together, people are spending time on hate and war. And Trump actually allocated $1 trillion more to the military to send for the Middle East, and those trillion dollars can solve climate. They can finish climate change. They can finish poverty. They can finish homelessness. They can provide free healthcare. They can provide a better education system. And there's just so much programs that these resources can be going to other than war. And honestly, like, I believe Pakistan, DGISPR has stated that Pakistan will not allow any other country to use its soil as it has done before, which was a very bad idea. And I hope everything goes smoothly, and I just hope we just come to realize that war is not the way to go. And with that, I am done with my YouTube video. I hope it's not very long. Sorry for interrupting the video real quick. I noticed this while editing, and I was looking at receipts for tweets from Trump to see what his view was, and so I could show them as proof to you guys. And I've pulled up some there. I'm going to put them right over here. And one thing I've noticed that a lot of people are like Qasem Soleimani. I'm not saying that Qasem Soleimani was a perfect man. I'm pretty sure he had his ups and downs. I do not support any of I'm not saying I support him, not saying I don't support him. I do not have the full facts at the moment. However, when people are saying that he killed this many Americans, he killed this many service members, you have to consider that these servicemen were actually sent into the area by the US, and it was a war zone. People are going to die. He was a general. I'm sure he was responsible for these deaths because it is literally his job. When you send people into war zones, they are going to die. They are going to miss their limbs because it is a war zone. I'm pretty sure American generals have a lot more blood on their hands, especially of civilians they aren't held accountable either. So clearly this is a very stupid argument, and I was just so confused about people saying this that I just had to bring it up. So thank you. But without further ado, I'm just going to end with my outro. And guys, I really hope you enjoyed this video. Leave any comments you'd like to see in the future, what you thought of this video, what your resolutions are, why you believe Trump is going about this way, what's your view on the Iran crisis. And just be more aware, I guess. I'd suggest go reading articles, be more aware of what's going on in the country. Do not accuse people without having all of your facts straight. And oh, I totally forgot to talk about this. Another thing I hated about 2019 was the cancel culture. And if someone does one little thing, you just have to go and cancel them. I hated that. I hope we move past that because yes, people deserve second chances unless it's something very extreme. And even then, people are not held accountable. So really, we need to start coming together. And also, like, I'm going to tell you some of my highlights from 2019 as the world banded together a lot, the Me Too movement, so one thing that struck really deep within me was You Are the Rapist song in Chile, I believe. I suggest go watching that. It's so powerful. It's so important. And there's just so much that's happening this year, and we can focus on the good things rather than the bad. And without further ado, and with whatever. So I'm just going to link my Instagram over here. All of my social media will be linked down below. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And anything you'd like to see in the future, go follow my Instagram. It's going to be linked here. It's all down below. My Snapchat is down below too. I will link the songs down below that I played too. I'm going to not link the movies. That's a lot of work. And I'm just so thankful that you guys were here on this journey with me. I'm not ending my channel. Why am I saying that? I'm so thankful that you guys have stuck with me for so long, and you've been such good followers and fans, and I'm so thankful for that. And I am so thankful for each and every one of you, and I'm so happy that all of you support me, and I'm just really grateful for all of you, and thank you so much. And yeah, I guess that's it. So have a great 2020. Be strong. Talk to me if you guys need to talk about anything. If anything hard is going on in your life, you just need a person to talk, hit me up. I'll let you guys know about that. And just be nice to each other, be kind, and have a great year. Have a great day, have a great year, have a great week. Like, okay, I could just go on. Just make sure you improve as a person in this year than you were last year. I intend to do so. And I hope you guys had an amazing day. And thank you so much for watching. Bye.